Do you think you could live in your Bardo, or is it too small for longer term use?
I think you could live in it for sure. Where you'd go to the bathroom and shower might be a bit of a challenge, but it's definitely a nice space.
Tell me about your experience spending a few nights in a small space.
Well, we went camping once in our Shasta, and it was fun. It's hard to get used to having to convert your table into a bed and your bed back into a table when you want to have breakfast. But then again, you're out at the lake or at the mountains, and you look forward to getting out of it.
Can you relate to people who talk about finding more peace of mind in a smaller space?
Yeah, there is more peace of mind in a smaller space. I don't know what it is about being in here, but it's relaxing. The rest of the world kind of just melts away when you're in your tiny space.
Do you believe that small is beautiful? Do you actually find it more attractive than a large space, or just more practical?
Well, that's hard to say. Again, I'm a pretty big guy, and I don't know why I'm so attracted to smaller spaces, because it's kind of counterintuitive. But I like it, and I think a lot of people are drawn to smaller spaces.
Leonardo da Vinci wrote, "Small rooms or dwellings discipline the mind. Large ones weaken it." Can you relate?
Well, yeah, I definitely know that large spaces occupy more of my mind space. There's always something to fix. There's always something to mow. There's always something to improve. And when you're in a smaller space, there isn't a whole lot of that worry. And if there is, it's not a big deal to fix it because it's a small thing. It's not a big project.
Tell me about the process which brought you to the point of building and designing your own tiny structure.
I guess we started with the dream of building a teardrop trailer together, and that wasn't something that we ended up finishing, but I think that's where the dream of our tiny dreams came from.
When did you first hear about Bardos? What made you interested in creating your own Bardo?
I don't think I'd really knew too much about Gypsy wagons or Bardos until I started looking online at ideas for building a tiny space, a tiny house, and this is what we came up with.
Did you have any home building experience?
I have made a living doing repairs, maintenance. For a while, I was a general contractor, and so yeah, I had a lot of experience building things for other people, but I had never built anything for myself or for my family. So this is the first time I built something that was kind of from my mind.
Tell me about the design process. What did you use for inspiration?
There's a gentleman, and I can't think of his name right now, but I think the name of his company is New American Bardos or something like that. He had a design very similar, but it was I felt like I could improve upon that. So I drew a lot of inspiration from his kit build, but then I also looked at traditional pictures. I think it's Romani Bardos or something like that, and all the real traditional like green paints and green and yellows didn't really appeal to me. So I don't know. The design kind of came along with just actually building it. We got it to a certain point and we said, well, it needs this, or it doesn't need that anymore. We thought we were going to put in a wood stove, but it's just so small in here that two people in here, it warms up on its own.
How large is it?
From side to side, inside, it's right around 7 7'3" or something like that, and then on the outside it's closer to 7'6" wide. I'm guessing around 10 foot tall and 10 foot long from end to end. I use 10 foot 2x4s, but then there's a little bit of tongue there too, 3 foot tongue. So yeah.
Why did you go for something so tiny?
Space. Space was a concern. We didn't have a whole lot of space to build things the way our property is set up. We couldn't build it in the backyard, which is quite large, because there would be no way to get it out of there. So yeah, space. It had to fit in our driveway.
Tell me about the design limitations in building something so small.
Design limitations. We had to decide what we were going to use it for, and I think what we decided was we're going to sleep or camp in it. So we built everything around the 2 beds. I'm not a small person, so I wanted the bed to be strong and large. And anytime we ever went on vacation, it never seemed like the bed or the space that we were in felt like home. So.
How did you find your materials? Did you use any recycled materials?
Unfortunately, you can't really find a whole lot of recycled plywood, and when you do, it's in small chunks in somebody's garage or something that they're giving away for free. So no, we did try and use FSC lumber, which is Forest Stewardship certified, but no, everything was built from lumber yards or Home Depot, aside from the windows that we actually made ourselves.
What did it cost you for the entire project?
Cost, not so much. We try not to look at the receipts, but I'm guessing we're somewhere around $5,000 in materials. And hours, we're a year and 2 months into the build, so we're calling it finished. So lots more labor than actual money.
What are your plans for using it?
Well, hopefully it actually tows down the road. The trailer that we have it on is only rated for 17, 20 pounds or something like that. So as soon as we get it to a point where I feel like we can tow it down the road, we need to go weigh it and put a license plate on it. But we'd definitely like to try and use it for camping.
Why build a Vardo and not some other tiny trailer on wheels?
You know, I've seen a lot of the other tiny house builders, and they're great. I really love Jay Schaefer's designs. He's definitely been a big inspiration for wanting to build smaller, and but I just wanted to do something that pushed the limits of my skill set, and I think round definitely did that.
Is there a certain nostalgia in your decision to build a Vardo? Would you like to attach a horse to it if you could?
Yeah, I think the dream for us would be to have our own land somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and have our chickens and horses and our ponies. Yeah, so for sure, I would definitely love to be able to hook up a horse and take it for a weekend trip to the lake. You know, no gasoline.
Do you think the design has passed a certain test of history? What makes the design so well thought out?
I can't take a whole lot of credit for the overall design, because they've been around for so long, and I don't honestly know a whole lot about the history of the structure, but if you look at things built throughout time, I mean, like, you know, bridges and everything, they have that round shape, and I think the structure is very sound, very strong. So I think it'll last for years to come.
I see the structure as less a strictly functional trailer and more artwork. Was that your intention?
No, no, it wasn't supposed to be an art piece. The idea was for me and my family to be able to get out and to do stuff in it. So, but unfortunately, I'm a perfectionist, and it just ended up this way. I couldn't leave it with just a tarp over it, or at every step I wanted to push the limits of what I thought I could do.
Did you enjoy the process of creating? What is it like to spend time in something you created yourself?
I love creating things. Like I said, usually it's not for me though. It's always for somebody else. And what's it like to spend time in here? It's ridiculously cool. I can't even explain how wonderful it feels for people to say, "Man, I love that wagon."